Good morning. It's a Sunday morning, and I just got done doing an HLN segment on the tragic case in South Carolina from this week, in which we don't know the details, but in the end, there was a 10-year-old fifth grade girl who was airlifted out of her hospital and died. And there was apparently a classroom fight. So the segment is more about really what do you do, how do you handle it when a kid is a witness to something incredibly violent, and what are some signs to look for. So I thought today I would talk about the things that I didn't get to fully in that interview, because the statistics say by the time a kid is in high school, 80% of them will have witnessed a violent act. So that could be domestic violence at home, or it could be violence on the playground, at school, out in the community. So this does impact actually a lot of people. Something as dramatic as a murder or a death maybe isn't quite as common in certain areas, but witnessing violence is. So a couple things: the impact on kids witnessing violence. The first thing usually you see in the beginning stages, what we call the acute stage, is you see disrupted sleep, and there can be nightmares. There can be school avoidance or avoidance of wherever the violence has occurred. And then you pretty quickly sometimes start to see increased levels of depression, anxiety, and even anger and irritability. So about 12% of kids who witness a violent act will actually need professional help. So I think it's really helpful to know what some of the signs are from what's typical, what I just said. And then we go on to the longer term consequences, which can actually turn into post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD for short. And what happens in PTSD, I'm going to read to you some of the things that can happen when a kid witnesses violence and then has some PTSD symptoms. They can have first and foremost survivor guilt. And so even again, if there wasn't necessarily a death, but there's guilt of sometimes like bystander guilt. Just, what could I have done? Should I have done something differently? This could happen with kids who witness bullying. And so you really want to talk to the child about that aspect of it. The other things that you see are anxiety or hypervigilance, irritability, difficulty concentrating, having flashbacks, intrusive thoughts that they can't seem to get out of their head. They're like, I want to stop thinking about this or picturing this, but I can't. Nightmares, easily startled or easily triggered is another symptom. I'm reading some of my notes. Difficulty just having sleep, getting to sleep, staying asleep. And then blame to others, blame toward themselves, some shame, some fear. So those are symptoms of PTSD to look for. So what I would say is, if you're watching this and you know that your child has witnessed something, it could be something in public, out at a mall, or something's going on at school, really talk to them about it and talk to them about how these symptoms can be normal at first, but if they find that they are really out of their control, then you may want to seek some professional help. So thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Bye-bye.